Steven Weinberg, Dreams of a Final Theory. And this was 1992, but I don't think too profound has happened since 92 in terms of theories of everything. Random House, Pantheon Books. Steven Weinberg, I believe, is the guy who predicted W and Z bosons and the weak force. His point of view is that you have to approach understanding nature only using nature itself, which makes him a philosophical naturalist and a philosophical materialist, and he's also a uniformitarianist. The problem I have with that approach is nature itself requires an explanation. Just to sort of say that there's so-called natural causes is not a real meaningful explanation, because nature itself requires an explanation. And I think before you can get to a theory of everything, a theory of everything is going to involve the origin of nature itself. So what I'm going to do in this book review, I'm just going to read passages I found interesting, because it's a really interesting book. And I'm going to ad-lib some of my comments, my reactions to what Steven Weinberg had to say on these various topics that he introduced in his book. Okay, so let me see, page 18. All right. Grand principles could be that infinite energy is actually needed to complete science. Now, he doesn't say that himself. Let me see here. Discovery of a final theory of physics will not necessarily even help very much in making progress in understanding these phenomena, but may make, with some, a final theory will be final only in one sense. It will bring to an end a sort of science, the ancient search for the principles that cannot be explained in terms of deeper principles. So this is what I'm thinking. In order to get where he thinks a final theory is going to get, he is going to have to explain the origin of nature itself. And that's something that's not done in this book. He makes no attempt to do so. I don't even think he realizes that it's a question. And there's other inconsistencies like this, because the guy is pretty good when it comes to trying to be epistemologically exact, but then there's times when he contradicts his own standards in that regard. Okay, he talks about here the first quantum mechanical calculations of atomic energies had given results in good agreement with the experiment, but when quantum mechanics was applied not only to the electrons and atoms, but also to electric and magnetic fields that they produce, it turned out the atom had an infinite energy. Other infinities appeared in other calculations, and for 4 decades these absurd results appeared as a great obstacle in the progress of physics. And of course, what they did in the end was renormalization theory, which, in Feynman's words, is sweeping the infinities under the carpet. And this is why I'm insisting on bringing the origin of nature into these explanations of nature itself, because I believe that an infinite energy substrate is required in order for anything to exist. There has to be this infinite substrate. Trying to get to a theory of everything only using the finite is I think, ultimately going to end up futile. Okay, let's see here, page 21 at the top. Okay, he's talking about Huxley and his arguments against creationism in the Bible and so forth, he says that the questions revolving around evolution are now settled. They've been long settled. No one with any understanding of science would doubt the great age of the earth or the reality of evolution. See, I don't think that he can make that assertion. Let me just, you might want to watch. I have some pretty good videos on what's wrong with evolution and disproof. I think it's called more proof that evolution is wrong. Really, if you want to be honest, what we see in evolution, we see species becoming extinct. We don't see species coming into existence replacing the extinct ones. We see that there is an ability for species to vary, but it's a limited degree of variation. We don't really witness what evolutionists propose, that we see things making these manifest changes from one species to another. And in that rate, I mean, we would be seeing new species that never existed before. And that's nothing that's ever happened. You got this guy Miller talking about some butterfly that can now eat bananas. But that's not, that's just a lie. I did the research. I had other people that researched, and I knew people that actually debated Miller in public forum. And his idea that, you have these butterflies developing new mouth parts is just not true. And, even if it was, I mean, look at what we're talking about. You got one out of millions and millions and millions of species. According to the evolution theory, we should be overwhelmed by new species by now because there's more time elapsed and there's more stress on the ecology. So this is just bad science on the part of Steven Weinberg here to accept evolution. I think that the evolution, the acceptance of evolution needs to come into question, and it actually is I think it's a topic that will identify people who are free thinkers, willing to think for themselves, and then people who are going along with the status quo and the academic pressure to accept these theories. And of course, there are philosophical reasons involved in people's embracing evolution. All right, let's see here, page 25. Okay, near the top. Let me see. Oh, this is an interesting. I like this. He says he's talking about forces and particles. All these particles are bundles of energy or quanta of various sorts of fields. A field like an electric or magnetic field is a sort of stress in space, something like the various sorts of stress that are possible within a solid body. But the field is a stress in space itself, which is an excellent observation. I just made a video on this called, I think it's called A Simple View of Gravity, or it's called What is Gravity? And I bring up that point myself, that forces are stresses in space. I didn't use the word stress in there, I said shape, it's reshaping, transmuting the shape of space. So now Weinberg agrees with me. Okay, well that's good, that's points for him. All right, let's see here. Okay, all right, and he calls, I thought this was another mistake on his part. And I'm going to have to get to this in the next video. I'm running out of time. But he says that would-be sciences, and he has all these false sciences, and he groups creationism with that. So I'm going to take up that topic in the next video.